This is Rory Feek, and this is his daughter Hopie. And even if you know what she revealed on social media recently, you don't know the full story yet. Rory just responded, and he answers the biggest questions fans have. Did he know? Fans were pretty one-sided to this news, with so many responses like this one. Blood is DNA, family is heart, any man can be a father, but not every man can be a dad, one person wrote. Here are a few more reactions, but I know, get to the point, Billy. I hear you, subscribers, so here we go.
Most of you know me through my family and their story. I've always felt a little bit different, and now I know why.
Hopie is Sarah Hope Feek. She's the 36-year-old middle daughter in the family, with Heidi being 2 years older, and half-sister Indiana, born in 2014. She revealed on Instagram that she recently took a DNA test and confirmed a suspicion that her mother had. More on that in a moment.
Turns out, this is my dad, not the one that everyone knows, and his name is BC. And over the last 6 months, him and I have gotten really close and gotten to know each other, and it's so strange because we're so much alike.
Backstory time, and I think we need a new music bed for this. It was January 1988, and Rory Feek had just returned from war. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to talk like that, but he was a Marine back from overseas duty, and pretty quickly he learned that his wife, Tamara, was pregnant. The math worked out, and Hopie came 2 weeks before her due date. At least he thought she did. In a new post titled "A Different Dad" at his This Life I Live blog, Rory talks about how he held his daughter and said something offhanded like, "Wow, she's pretty developed for being 2 weeks early." The doctor was like, no, she's 2 weeks late. So he'd later press his wife and she'd say, no, it's yours. And then he largely forgot about it because he ended up raising both Heidi and Hopie alone. The mom kind of split. In his 2017 biography, This Life I Live, Rory talks about this time, saying he was a lousy husband and was not faithful. Quote, "In the end, she too did some of the same things that I did and wasn't true to me, but I take complete blame for the failure of the marriage. I could have done more, could have been more." In the last year or two, Hopie and her birth mother have reconnected and she came clean. Her dad's name is BC, and within 24 hours of learning the news, he was at her house.
Just to give me a hug and to meet me. I've never experienced unconditional love like that before.
Some backstory there. Cue the music! Hopie would come out as gay, and in 2018, Rory admitted that as a strong Christian, he had a very hard time accepting that. He also goes to some lengths explaining how his middle daughter is different. In his book, he says, quote, "She is exactly the opposite in many ways of her sister, who spends most of her days deep in thought, analyzing life to the nth degree. Heidi has always been the most like me, and Hopie is the most how I'd like to be." If you've ever read Rory's blog, you know that he spares no detail or emotion, and in this latest one, published on February 11th, he talks about how it had been some time since he talked to his daughter Hopie. He was really excited when she called. He also talks about how his first marriage broke down, and he ended up raising his 2 girls alone. He says this new news doesn't change how he feels about Hopie. Quote, "I love you as my daughter and I always will. I'm disappointed and sad that it took 3 decades to learn this, but the truth is I mostly hurt for Hopie, and I also hurt for Hopie's mom." Remember, that's who kind of started this ball rolling. Here's Hopie again.
I reconnected with my mom this past year, and she's freaking awesome, and learned just how much she loves me and how much she wanted to be a part of my life, but never really could.
It's actually been 6 months since Hopie found out about all this, but she says she and her birth father are becoming very close and they're so much alike. He calls her his daughter, and, good on him for embracing the moment. Rory seems to feel much the same way. "Life is hard, and so is marriage and parenting," he writes to close his latest blog post. "Every day I believe we get the opportunity to change and to grow and become what we wish we could have and should have been before, to be different dads and moms and husbands and wives than we were before." I'm Billy Dukes for Taste of Country. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing.